Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Man, this is the fourth attempt to make this video, so we're just gonna go with it. Um, we are first today. Welcome back. If this is your first time at Secret Garden Tarot, welcome. And if this is not your first time here, you guys know the drill. The production value is not great today. The camera that I bought for this series is going back to Amazon. It's not working. But today we will be continuing the Tarot 101 series. So I just wanted to start off with just a real quick codicil. This is the first of the 4 suits. We're going to be starting with Pentacles today, simply because they are the most recognizable. Everybody can recognize a big yellow disc. But it's important to know that when you're doing a reading for a person, you're not only, discussing just the cards, but there's more meanings. You have to know the numerology, the meaning behind the numbers. And I did a little bit of research. So pictures and numbers actually predate written text by several thousand years. So we've had caveman paintings, numeric systems, counting systems long before we had written history. So you want to bear that in mind when reading these cards. But you also want to take a good look at the illustration. And again, for this series, we're going to be using the traditional Rider-Waite, simply because they're the most universal. If you follow any of the readings, you know I use several different versions of this deck. They're all about the same, but this is the standardized version in both name and images. You want to look at the different colors. You want to look at how they make you feel. You want to take a big picture of everything together. So the numbers, the illustrations, what's in the background, the depth and saturation of colors. That is a bright yellow, bright yellow. So here we go. We're going to start with the coins. In the Rider-Waite, it's known as Pentacles, but it also goes by discs or coins. I've seen it as stones. They represent earth energy, which is solid and earthy, foundational energy, grounded energy, abundance. People of that sign, they represent Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. They're goal-oriented, goal setters, and attainers. There's usually a garden at some point in the discs or the pentacles, because they represent tangible abundance. You want to think practical, think handy, think money, think foundation. But there's a bad side to that too. No, I shouldn't say bad side. There's less positive attributes. They can represent stubbornness, detachment, coldness. Think cold, hard cash. Difficult personalities, martinet personalities. They can be aggressive. They can be a little dry, a little materialistic. Again, cold, hard cash. That's what this represents, is foundational energy, material energy. To me, I find most of the earth sign energy is kind of middle C. As a group, the earth signs aren't too much of anything. They're very solid, very middle of the road people. They're not overly emotional. They're not overly intellectual. Although, as we'll get to in a couple of minutes, coins can represent higher education. As we know, higher education can be quite pricey. Not saying that they aren't emotional, because they can be, but certainly not as emotional as the water signs. They're not overly intellectual, not as much as, say, the Geminis, the Libras, those air energies. Not overly passionate like the fire signs, not loud personalities. These tend to be very, these are the people that dress in the neutral tones, the browns, the blacks, the grays, There's a lot of gray, dark green. These are the neutral people. Neutral, think earth tones, think neutrality. And we're going to start with the aces. I like to think of this as the lucky penny. Aces signify, all the aces signify new starts, the beginning, in this case, of new opportunities, of prosperity, wealth, and material abundance. I, again, like to think of this as that lucky penny. This is, this is finding $10 in the pocket of your jeans when you take them out of the dryer. That's what that is. New starts, startup money. This is the Kickstarter money. That's what this represents. Moving along to the Two of Coins, or discs, or pentacles. This, you'll notice, and hopefully this is a little bit more, hopefully this is a whole lot clearer than the other one was. This will focus. This is differences in wealth, having distractions, juggling several resources. It's usually a younger person, balancing discs, each disc in a different hand, but you'll notice it makes a figure 8. That's the infinity symbol. It represents, at least to me, the struggle between what you should be doing and what you want to be doing. These little ships back here, and it's a little hard to see, but they're getting really, really tossed on these great big waves. He wants to do one thing, but should be doing something else, and that is an ongoing struggle. So that's a good way to be thinking, that having two of two minds, seeing both sides of the coin. And again, that is an ongoing struggle. Nobody ever is 100% satisfied all the time. So there's always a bit of a struggle going on. On to number 3 of the coins. And again, going in the numerology way, 3 is 1 up from 2. So this is building and collaborations, progress brought about by coming together. This represents growth. It's physical building. It's a little difficult to see in this one, but this is the craftsman actually building this beautiful arch. And these are either in some versions, it's the priest, although he kind of looks like a priest. He looks like a monk, and a parishioner or a patron, somebody who's actually paying for this. But it's a coming together. It's a working together. It can be you and the bankers working for that loan. 4, on the other hand, is a little bit interesting. He has attained more wealth, but this can represent selfishness, greed, consumerism. He has literally turned his back on his hometown. He's standing on the 2 coins. He's holding this one right in front of his heart. He loves this more than anybody else. As we've talked about before, coins are generally metal. Discs, pentacles, whatever you call them, are metal. You can actually build upon them. They are solid energy. So nothing's getting to his heart before that coin. He's standing on them. He is making his foundation upon that money. But look, he's turned his back on his community. So this is a card of getting things. In some cases, it can just mean outright selfishness, being greedy, being self-consumed. But it can be materialism, getting things just to have more things, which is fine if that's where you want to put your energy. But, you have to look at the entire card. Again, it's got that dark gray, darkish gray background. You can't quite see where the sky ends and the ground begins. It's all that same kind of beige color. Okay, so moving on to number 5. Number 5 is the missed opportunities card. This is a card of making sure that you are using all of your resources. These people only need to do is look around, and help is closer than they think. They are actually outside a church, what appears to be a church, and I believe again, this is the traditional Rider-Waite. It is a stained glass window, so it is a church, community. I guess in more modern decks, it could be a community center or any other house of worship. But this is making sure that you are using all of your resources, not looking any gift horses in the mouth, so to speak. Using all your resources. Help is closer than you think. You simply need to ask for it. All right, now on to number 6. And this card, I get balance. This is the Minor Arcana Judgment energy, very strong Libra energy. There's that garden in the back, so there is abundance now. It is about putting your efforts to the best use, making sure that your efforts are not wasted. And if you look at him, this guy just happens to be closer than this guy in the blue, but they are both in need. So this guy in the yellow is getting all the money. This guy in the blue has his hand out, but he's not getting any. So you want to make sure that you're being fair, you're being equal, you are being balanced. Even the coins up in the corner aren't balanced. There's 3 on this side, 2 here, and then 1 in the middle. You want to make sure that you are putting your efforts to where they will do the most good. And again, he's turned his back on his community. So you want to make sure that he's doing good, absolutely doing good. He's helping out, but he's not doing it in the most fair way that he could do it. All right, the next couple of cards actually all go together. So I'm going to kind of read them together. We have the 7, the 8, and the 9. Speaking about building on one or another. This is the hard work is paying off. This is Minor Arcana Temperance. Divine timing. Again, there's that garden. Again, abundance, fertility, growth. Gardens always equal abundance, always equal fruitfulness. But hard work paying off. Patience. You can't make this garden grow any faster than it is going to, which leads us into the 8. So we've got 7, 8, and 9. That garden, that little hill town in the background, working hard, diligence, building wealth. He's literally making these coins, nose to the grindstone. It's going to take a long time to actually make all of this happen. And then ultimately the 9, all that work has paid off. The single, successful, independent. I like to call her Beyonce because she's always there by herself. Not necessarily even feminine energy, but she is secure. She is usually with a bird, which obviously these are discs, coins, pentacles. Birds equal freedom. They illustrate freedom. So this is financial freedom. Healthy trees in the background, healthy garden. She has grown her wealth. She is that single, successful person. And not necessarily, she doesn't necessarily even look lonely. She is just, that is the energy in which she lives. You know, she's worked really hard. She's been patient. She has all of her theoretical ducks in a row. She's enjoying what the fruits of her labor and her sacrifice and her work has brought. Which leads us to the 10. The happy, stable family, home life. Can denote a wedding if you're doing some readings like that, because we all know weddings are expensive. Again, with the garden, the dogs for loyalty, the children for innocence, the elderly man for wisdom. This is the happy, stable family home. This is the house, the white picket fence, the 2.5 kids, the dog in the yard. This is the culmination of all of those pentacles, all of that hard work, all learning all those lessons, using all your resources, using the wisdom of the ages. This is the culmination. It's a 10, so it is the end of the suit. Okay, so let's switch these out, and we're going to switch up to the court cards. The page, and in some cases it's the princess, but the Rider-Waite calls them pages. Pages are young, childish, or childlike energy, so you want to make sure that you're looking at it from both perspectives. Pages are messengers, bringers of information. They usually mean young or younger, either emotionally, in this case financially, or chronologically younger people. Usually educated, probably well educated. Educations are a foundational tool. Let's not forget how expensive higher education is. We're going to get to the Knights. The Knights are all about action. However, since wealth takes longer to build, this is the slowest Knight. He is not going to be coming charging in like the swords or the wands, you know, singing you sonnets like the cup of the Knight of Cups. He is steady, he is measured, he is stable. It takes a lot of time and research and resources for this Knight to ride on in. But once he's in there, that is the most solid of an offer. Which leads us to the top of the suit, the top of the court cards, the King and the Queen. Now, they have very similar energies. Both stable people. Both of these people have their 401ks in a place. They're all vested. They'll tell you exactly where to put your money. They know where to put their money. She is a little bit softer, a little bit more passive energy because she's feminine. Not necessarily female, but feminine energy, a little softer energy. He's a bit more aggressive, more masculine energy. But again, you see the gardens, you see all those luscious, really, really beautiful colors. The warm golds, the warm oranges. She's got this full roses around her, this full rose bush around her. Yeah, they have used all of their resources. They are stable people. They're warm people when they want to be. But again, you got to look at that. You've got he's actually up here, if you'll notice. These are bulls. Stubborn energy. Also the sign of Taurus. Stubborn like a bull. So yeah, once they dig their heels in, they are not people willing to really readily change their mind. They are both mature. They are stable. These are the people who have not only just a job, but they have established, stable careers, often in, you know, these are careers that have been established. They've been educated. These are the lawyers. These are the homemakers, the architects, the builders of things. They are warm, but can be a bit obstinate. They are stubborn, but kind. They're warm people, but they do have that side of them that is that cold, hard cash side. That kind of usually comes out closer to the end of the year. Those Capricorn people that, if you think Capricorn, Pentacle energy, job-oriented, task-oriented, a little harder to read. They're a little less up in their emotions than those Taurus earlier in the year, those springtime Taurus. I think that's about all we have. Let me know what your thoughts are. If any of these cards have different meanings for you, certainly let me know down in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye, family.